So I have to ask you, on the capitalism side, you mentioned that technology is killing capitalism, or it has effects that are unintended, well, not unintended, but not what economists would predict or speak of capitalism creating. I just want to talk to you about, in general, the effect of even then artificial intelligence or technology automation taking away jobs and these kinds of things, and what you think is the way to alleviate that, whether the Andrew Yang presidential candidate with universal basic income, UBI, what are your thoughts there? How do we fight off the negative effects of technology that...
All right, you're a software guy, right?
Yep.
A human being is a worker is an old idea.
Yes.
A human being has a worker is a different object, right?
Yes.
So if you think about object-oriented programming as a paradigm, a human being has a worker and a human being has a soul. We're talking about the fact that for a period of time, the worker that a human being has was in a position to feed the soul that a human being has. However, we have two separate claims on the value in society. One is as a worker and the other is as a soul. And the soul needs sustenance, it needs dignity, it needs meaning, it needs purpose. As long as your means of support is not highly repetitive, I think you have a while to go before you need to start worrying. But if what you do is highly repetitive and it's not terribly generative, you are in the crosshairs of for loops and while loops. And that's what computers excel at, repetitive behavior. And when I say repetitive, I may mean things that have never happened through combinatorial possibilities, but as long as it has a looped characteristic to it, you're in trouble. We are seeing a massive push towards socialism because capitalists are slow to address the fact that a worker may not be able to make claims. A relatively undistinguished median member of our society still needs to reproduce, needs to dignity. And when capitalism abandons the median individual, or the bottom tenth, or whatever it's going to do, it's flirting with revolution. And what concerns me is that the capitalists aren't sufficiently capitalistic to understand this. You really want to court authoritarian control in our society because you can't see that people may not be able to defend themselves in the marketplace because the marginal product of their labor is too low to feed their dignity as a soul. So my great concern is that our free society has to do with the fact that we are self-organized. I remember looking down from my office in Manhattan when Lehman Brothers collapsed and thinking, who's going to tell all these people that they need to show up at work when they don't have a financial system to incentivize them to show up at work? So my complaint is, first of all, not with the socialists, but with the capitalists, which is you guys are being idiots. You're courting revolution by continuing to harp on the same old ideas that, well, try harder, bootstrap yourself. Yeah, to an extent that works, to an extent. But we are clearly headed in a place that there's nothing that ties together our need to contribute and our need to consume. And that may not be provided by capitalism because it may have been a temporary phenomenon. So check out my article on anthropic capitalism and the new gimmick economy. I think people are late getting the wake-up call, and we would be doing a better job saving capitalism from itself because I don't want this done under authoritarian control. And the more we insist that everybody who's not thriving in our society during their reproductive years in order to have a family is failing at a personal level. I mean, what a disgusting thing that we're saying. What a horrible message. Who the hell have we become that we've so bought into the Chicago model that we can't see the humanity that we're destroying in that process? And I hate the thought of communism. I really do. My family has flirted with it in decades past. It's a wrong, bad idea. But we are going to need to figure out how to make sure that those souls are nourished and respected. And capitalism better have an answer. And I'm betting on capitalism, but I got to tell you, I'm pretty disappointed with my team.
So you're still on the capitalism team. You just there's a theme here.
Well, radical capitalism.
Hyper-capitalism, yeah.
I think hyper-capitalism is going to have to be coupled to hyper-socialism. You need to allow the most productive people to create wonders. And you got to stop bogging them down with all of these extra nice requirements. You know, nice is dead. Good has a future. Nice doesn't have a future because nice ends up with gulags.